Hello and a warm welcome to South Asia Today, where we bring you in-depth insights into the key events shaping South Asia. I'm Shivangi Mishra, and are today's top stories. AI and drones redefining India's security and logistics. Rudraksh trade brings prosperity to farmers in Nepal's Bhojpur district. And two-day Kashmir Literature Festival showcases rich literary and cultural heritage. High altitude and high performances drones are reshaping the future of aviation and aerial technology. From advanced military surveillance to rapidly expanding commercial delivery networks, this technology is changing the way we use the skies. Today, young Indian engineers and scientists are leading this transformation by developing smarter, faster, and more efficient drone systems.
Imagine this. The moment you place an emergency order, an eagle-shaped drone takes off and lands directly on your campus to deliver your package. This is no longer imagination, but a reality shaped by modern technology. Deep tech startups in Bangalore have developed next-generation logistics systems aimed at making deliveries faster, safer, and more cost-effective. These drones are bypassing city traffic and enabling quicker delivery of healthcare and essential services. A new aerial highway for deliveries is now taking shape in the skies.
So the drones that we build, they're very lightweight. We're building the most efficient drone delivery platform in the world. And so the idea is that we want to make drones that can fly in the sky, carry small amounts of payload, but do it just as efficiently, if not more efficiently, than trucks.
The aim of this drone delivery system is to make logistics simpler, cheaper, and more accessible for everyone. These India-made drones are being used for everything, from delivering medicines in villages to fulfilling online orders. These drones are specially designed to travel long distances like airplanes and take vertical flight like helicopters. While lightweight carbon fiber and smart control systems, they are fast, reliable, and capable of long-range deliveries.
So we're looking at these drones to solve logistics problems across all types of logistics. So we're not just looking at last mile, we're also solving problems in the mid-mile, first mile, etc. We're looking to see how we can improve the efficiency of all logistics transportation with these drones.
Another Bangalore-based startup led entirely by a young team has developed an AI-powered robotic system capable of operating from the air to the deep sea. This technology has the potential to significantly strengthen future defense and maritime security. This initiative, founded by Jitendra Saini and Gautami TS, aims to develop autonomous systems that can operate without human control across air, water surface, and underwater environments.
Avatar is our amphibious vehicle for tactical, aerial, and aquatic reconnaissance. Now the speciality of this is it can fly in the air as well as submerge underwater, seamlessly transition between these two environments.
It has the capabilities to fly up to 150 kilometers of range, where it can dive underwater and use for loitering munition use cases, something like that.
Young Indian engineers and scientists are developing multi-domain technologies that can play a crucial role in defense, surveillance, maritime security, and disaster management.
अंडर वाटर में कहाँ पे क्या एनिमी कहाँ पर है, वो अंडर वाटर से सबमरीन से आ रही है, सबको डिटेक्ट कर सकता है, उसको जाके अटैक कर सकता है, तो इस तरीके के मेजर्स को वो काउंटर कर सकता है.
India's young engineers and scientists are shaping the future with drone and AI-powered multi-domain technologies, making defense, surveillance, and logistics smarter, faster, and more secure.
In the hills of eastern Nepal, Bhojpur has emerged as the country's Rudraksh capital, with the sacred beet trade transforming local livelihoods. From farmers earning millions through high-value Rudraksh seeds to growing demand from Indian devotees and pilgrims, the industry is driving the region's economy while reinforcing Bhojpur's status as a major center of Rudraksh cultivation and trade.
For more than 3 decades, Ashok Karki has been associated with the Rudraksh trade in Bhojpur, a hilly district in eastern Nepal nestled in the Makalu Himalayan region. Rudraksh cultivation has emerged as a major source of livelihood for local communities, transforming the district into a thriving hub of sacred bead production. In Sadananda municipality, where Rudraksh trees grow at elevations of 1,200 to 1,400 meters, even young trees are often sold for thousands of rupees before they begin bearing seeds. A mature tree can produce more than 4,000 seeds annually, providing farmers with a reliable source of income.
अब यो नेचुरल दाना अलिक काँडे काँडे दानाहरूलाई अलिक त्यसको जातहरूलाई हार्मोनल औषधि हान्ने हो फुलमै, जस्तै फुलमा भन्दा नि कोपिलादेखि नै यसको 3-4 पटकको प्रोसेस हुन्छ, त्यसलाई हेरेर हान्ने। त्यो हानिसकेपछि चाहिँ दानाको बडी स्ट्रक्चर अलिक खदिलो बलियो भरिलो हेर्न राम्रो भएकोले गर्दा त्यो दानाहरू चाहिँ अत्यधिक 100% नै चाइना जान्छ।
Traders say that a two-faced Rudraksh can fetch between 20,000 and 30,000 Nepalese rupees, while three-faced beads are sold for 300 to 500 Nepalese rupees each. Rare multi-faced Rudraksh beads command even higher prices, enabling farmers to earn millions of rupees through the trade. The growing demand has also prompted local authorities to levy taxes on the expanding Rudraksh business. Beyond domestic markets, Indian tourists and pilgrims increasingly visit eastern Nepal to purchase authentic Rudraksh beads, driven by their religious significance in Hindu traditions associated with Lord Shiva.
त्यही रुद्राक्ष चाहिँ अहिले सबैतिर सबै किसानहरूले आय आर्जनको उद्देश्यबाट खेतबारीहरूमा खाद्यान्न बालीको सट्टा अहिले रुद्राक्ष लगाउने तर लगभग यहाँ लाख बिरुवा भन्दा बढी चाहिँ रुद्राक्षका चाहिँ बिरुवा छन्। यो चाहिँ नेपालको रुद्राक्षको राजधानी हो।
Rudraksh is a large evergreen broadleaf tree that thrives from sea level up to elevations of around 2,000 meters across tropical and subtropical regions. According to the Shiv Puran, Rudraksh trees are considered among the most sacred trees associated with Lord Shiva. Following the monsoon season, farmers and traders from across Nepal gather at the Haat Bazaar to trade Rudraksh beads. Special attention is given to mukdars, beads with 8 or more faces which have no fixed market value. Traders carefully examine each bead's faces, weight and compactness before bidding. Highly prized by Indian devotees and buyers for their spiritual importance, these rare Rudraksh beads continue to strengthen Nepal's sacred seed economy while reinforcing Bhojpur's identity as the country's Rudraksh capital.
Now we take a look at some happenings in Asia in a segment called Asia Watch.
India's ambitious Zojila Tunnel project marked a major milestone with its breakthrough ceremony attended by Nitin Gadkari. The 13.153 km tunnel, being built at a cost of $825 million, will provide all-weather connectivity between Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, boosting defense logistics, tourism and economic activity while improving year-round access to the strategically important region.
South Korean shares surged nearly 8% on Friday as investor sentiment improved following remarks by US President Donald Trump suggesting a potential peace deal with Iran could be reached as early as this weekend. The benchmark Kospi jumped to 8,384.05 points amid hopes that easing tensions in the Middle East could reopen key shipping routes and support global economic stability. The European Union and South Korea signed a digital trade agreement during their first summit in 3 years, aimed at facilitating cross-border data flows and strengthening economic ties. The deal is expected to boost e-commerce, enhance consumer protection standards, and reduce business costs. Leaders also agreed to deepen cooperation on security, support peace efforts on the Korean Peninsula and Ukraine, and work towards stability in the Middle East.
The two-day Kashmir Literature Festival was organized in Srinagar, bringing together writers, poets, scholars, and literature enthusiasts from across the country. The festival aims to promote reading habits, encourage literary engagement, and celebrate Kashmir's rich cultural and intellectual heritage. Through discussions, book launches, and interactive sessions, the event seeks to strengthen book culture in the valley while providing a platform for meaningful dialogue and creative expression. Let's take a look.
The third edition of the Kashmir Literature Festival concluded at Sher-e-Kashmir International Convention Centre, marking the end of a vibrant two-day celebration of literature, art, culture and intellectual exchange. Inaugurated by Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha, the festival brought together writers, poets, scholars and literature enthusiasts from across the country. Throughout the event, participants reflected on the enduring power of literature to inspire critical thinking, foster cultural understanding and strengthen social harmony while highlighting the vital role of creative voices in shaping society and preserving civilizational values.
हमें औपनिवेशिक जो मानसिकता हमारी कॉलोनियल माइंडसेट उसके हर अंश को अब मिटाने का समय आ गया है और मैं मानता हूं कि हमें इसके साथ साथ ये भी सुनिश्चित करना होगा, देखना होगा कि विदेशों में बैठकर कोई हमारे इतिहास और वर्तमान को तोड़ मड़ोड़ कर न पेश कर पाए। आज आवश्यकता इस बात की नहीं है कि हम आत्मप्रशंसा करें, बल्कि आवश्यकता इस बात की है कि हमारे जो राइटर्स हैं, थिंकर्स हैं, लेखक हैं, इस मजबूत नींव पर भारत की नई गाथा गढ़ने की जिम्मेदारी अपने कंधों पर लें, नया नैरेटिव बनाने में पूरा सहयोग करें।
The festival brought together an impressive gathering of renowned authors, scholars, diplomats, military veterans, policy makers, artists and literary enthusiasts from across the country. Over 2 days, the venue buzzed with engaging conversations and creative expression through panel discussions, book launches, poetry readings, cultural performances and interactive sessions. Organizers expressed satisfaction over the overwhelming response, noting a significant increase in participation by authors, publishers, students and literature enthusiasts.
पता नहीं आप जानते हैं नहीं कि यहाँ भारत में ही 2025 में 90,000 बुक्स वर पब्लिश्ड। सारी लैंग्वेजेस को आप मिला ले तो 90,000 बुक्स एक साल में कौन पब्लिश करता है? तो कोई तो पढ़ रहा है उसको। इसका मतलब जब 90,000 बुक्स पब्लिश हो रही हैं, उसको पढ़ा जा रहा है, तो इसका मतलब कि अगर ये नैरेटिव है कि लोग पढ़ना लिखना छोड़ चुके हैं, पढ़ने का तरीका शायद बदल गया होगा। हाँ, लोग अभी हो सकता है कि ये ऐसे फ्लिप नहीं करते होंगे पेपर, हो सकता है अपने फ़ोन और लैपटॉप पे या अपने आईपैड पे पढ़ रहे होंगे, लेकिन पढ़ने का कल्चर तो मुझे लगता है कि इट्स ग्रोइंग डे बाय डे एलजी साहब ने अंदर बोला अभी कि ये नैरेटिव है कि पढ़ना लिखना लोग छोड़ चुके हैं, बहुत सारे लोग पढ़ते हैं सर।
ये एक बहुत अच्छी बात होती है, स्पेशली हमारे कश्मीर में जब लिटरेचर को अपलिफ्ट किया जाता है। जो हमारा कश्मीर का लिटरेचर है, जो हमारे ऑथर्स है, जो यहाँ का एक बहुत अच्छा लिटरेचर है जो यहाँ के ऑथर्स ने लिखा हुआ है, जब इसको अपलिफ्ट किया जाता है, ऐसी जो महफिल है इनको सजाया जाता है, तो ये एक बहुत अच्छी चीज़ होती है। यहाँ पर लोग आते हैं, यहाँ के लिटरेचर को देखते हैं, यहाँ के ऑथर्स को देखते हैं, पूरे हिंदुस्तान से लोग आते हैं, तो ये एक बहुत अच्छा इनिशिएटिव होता है। हमारे यहाँ पे कश्मीर में टैलेंट बहुत है लिखने का। यहाँ पर जो यंगस्टर्स है, स्पेशली टीनेजर्स, बहुत अच्छा लिखते हैं, तो ऐसे इवेंट्स का करना बहुत अच्छा है। यहाँ से हमें एक नए हीरे की पहचान निकलती है।
Participants explored a diverse range of topics, including literature, history, education, geopolitics, media, and Kashmir's rich cultural heritage, making the festival a vibrant platform for dialogue, learning, and intellectual exchange. The festival aimed to foster dialogue, encourage creative expression, and provide a platform for the exchange of ideas among writers, academics, and readers.
मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा क्योंकि मेरे को यहाँ पे एज ए गेस्ट स्पीकर बुलाया गया है इस बार, तो बहुत बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी है कि जम्मू से मेरे को यहाँ पे कश्मीर में कश्मीर लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल एक तो बहुत अच्छा मतलब मौका है कि मतलब सारे लिटरेचर फैंस जो रीडर्स हैं, राइटर्स हैं, मैं खुद 3 बुक्स का ऑथर हूँ।
The festival concluded on a hopeful note, reaffirming the importance of reading, writing, and meaningful intellectual engagement in society. Participants described the event as a valuable platform for dialogue, cultural exchange, and the celebration of literary traditions. The successful hosting of the festival also reflected the sustained efforts of the Jammu and Kashmir administration to preserve and promote the region's rich literary and cultural heritage, while creating opportunities for writers, scholars, and young readers to connect, learn, and contribute to the valley's vibrant cultural landscape.
A worsening healthcare crisis is unfolding in the Jhelum Valley district of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, where rising cases of kidney disease are exposing serious gaps in medical infrastructure. With limited treatment facilities, non-functional healthcare services, and an increasing burden of chronic illnesses, many patients are being forced to travel long distances for life-saving care, adding to their hardship. We have a report.
Residents of Jhelum Valley in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir say access to quality healthcare remains severely limited despite the presence of government medical facilities. At the same time, cases of diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, and kidney-related illnesses are reportedly increasing across the region. Locals claim inadequate treatment facilities and a shortage of specialized medical services are leaving many patients without timely care, placing additional pressure on an already strained healthcare system.
हमारे यहाँ पास डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर है और बेसिक हेल्थ यूनिट भी है चनारी में, जहाँ पे सेहत की सहूलियात वो ना होने के मुतरादिफ हैं। अगर कोई मरीज़ खुदा न खास्ता कोई हादसा हो जाता है तो कोई मरीज़ हादसे का शिकार होता है, जब वो डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर हॉस्पिटल पहुंचता है तो वहाँ से उसको रेफ़र कर दिया जाता है। वहाँ पे उसकी ट्रीटमेंट का कोई बेहतर इलाज मौजूद नहीं है और साथ ही साथ में दिन ब दिन जो बीमारियाँ हैं मुख्तलिफ़ किस्म की वो बढ़ती जा रही हैं, जैसा कि शुगर, ब्लड प्रेशर और ब्लड प्रेशर की वजह से जो दिल के मसाइल हैं और जो बिलखुसूस इस वक्त पे जो तेज़ी से फैल रहा है गुर्दों का मसला, तकरीबन बहुत बड़ी तादाद में लोग जो है गुर्दों के मसाइल के शिकार हो रहे हैं। जबकि पानी भी आज़ाद कश्मीर में अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह साफ़ सुथरा पानी है क्योंकि ज़्यादातर चश्मों से आता है पानी, और फिर भी उसके बावजूद ग़िज़ा में कोई ऐसा मसला है या फिर जो लोग दवाइयाँ इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं शुगर की, ब्लड प्रेशर की, उनमें कोई ऐसा मसला है जिसकी वजह से जो गुर्दों के मसाइल हैं वो दिन ब दिन उनमें इजाफ़ा होता जा रहा है और साथ ही साथ जो दिल के मसाइल हैं उनकी भी जो है शरह वो पहले से बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ चुकी है।
The shortage of dialysis facilities has emerged as a major concern for kidney patients and their families. Although 6 dialysis machines were reportedly donated to the district headquarters hospital, only 3 are currently operational. With patient numbers exceeding available capacity, many individuals are being referred to Muzaffarabad for treatment, forcing critically ill patients to undertake long and costly journeys for essential medical care.
अभी डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर अस्पताल है तो यहाँ पे किसी बंदे ने गुर्दों के जो डायलिसिस की जो मशीनें हैं और वो डोनेट की, जिनकी तादाद 6 है और 3 मशीनें जो हैं वो अभी लगी हुई हैं, जबकि मरीज़ जो हैं वो 6 मशीनों के भी नहीं बल्कि 8 मशीनों के हैं, जिनको ये लोग यहाँ से मुजफ्फराबाद रेफ़र इसलिए कर रहे हैं कि 3 मशीनें इन्होंने लगाई हुई हैं और 3 मशीनें अभी वो स्टोर में पड़ी हुई हैं, उनके लगाने की इनके पास जगह नहीं है। अस्पताल इंतज़ामिया जो है वो जो डायलिसिस सेंटर है उसको बड़ा नहीं कर पा रही। ये सब जो है हुकूमत के जो सेहत के हवाले से बिल्कुल तरजीही बुनियादों पर ना होना ज़ाहिर करता है, क्योंकि डायलिसिस का जो मरीज़ है वो एक नाजुक मराइल में होता है और उसको फिर यहाँ से मुजफ्फराबाद, जो कि यहाँ से चनारी से 45 किलोमीटर दूर है, वहाँ पे रेफ़र करना और उसका रोज़ बरोज़ आना जाना उसके लिए शदीद माली और जिस्मानी तौर पर एक अज़ियत का वो शिकार होता है।
The situation highlights broader healthcare challenges facing people in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, where residents frequently raise concerns over inadequate medical infrastructure and limited access to specialized treatment. As kidney disease cases continue to rise, locals are calling for urgent improvements in healthcare services, warning that delays in addressing these shortcomings could further worsen the hardships faced by vulnerable patients and their families.
As we wrap up today's episode of South Asia Today, we thank you for joining us. We'll return next week at the same time with more insights and updates. This is Shivangi Mishra signing off on behalf of our entire team. Until then, stay safe and goodbye.